Alright everybody, welcome back to another video here on the Bad Wrestling channel. I am of course Dominic, and today what I kind of want to talk about is something a little bit different to what I normally do. It seems as though there is this buzz about a certain article discussing WWE 2K20, and it's by those boys over at Whatculture. You know those guys, the guys that Cultaholic absolutely love, which is weird considering, people don't typically care about Whatculture nor their articles. Well, Whatculture decided, hey, let's make an article describing 10 reasons why we should be worried about WWE 2K20, and I've seen a lot of people make a video on this. Tony Pizza Guy has made a video about it. Delzinski has made a video about it, and those are only two of the massive names that I assume are going to actually be discussing this article. So I figured, why don't I read through this article? Why don't I kind of discuss my thoughts going into it? So anyways, the first thing on this list, I guess, is ukes are gone. You can already see where this is going. I kind of see why they could be worried about this. They're not the only ones worried about the whole ukes situation. So pretty much what this is talking about is just the fact that ukes are gone from making WWE games, which they have been making for a very, very long time. And they decided to leave, pretty much stating it's kind of not fun to make the game anymore. We want to go do our own thing. For instance, our own freaking wrestling game. Ukes has decided to leave for their own wrestling game, stating that they don't like what they're doing with WWE 2K, and I can see why that's worrying. I kind of agree when it comes to that aspect. I am worried. I'm very worried about that. I don't know if they're going to talk about it later on, but it doesn't help that ukes kind of seem to have left about halfway through the game making cycle, and we haven't gotten a lot of information about the whole 2K series, what's happening with 2K20. Like, a part of me thought it wasn't even going to come out this year because it took them so long to make a trailer. It took them so long to do any sort of news roundup about the game. And I don't know if that's because they have almost had to scramble for this new game that they have to make. 2K, I'm referring to. Or what? But ukes leaving is kind of annoying because it almost seems ever since 2K showed up, and sure, I might be going on a little bit of a rant here, ever since 2K showed up, the game has gotten more and more realistic, and if you like that kind of style of gameplay, sure, I get it. I personally think it is kind of dull sometimes, honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna, go and suck 2K's penis right now, but the only reason I play 2K19 anymore is because I make videos of it on Universe mode. It's the only reason I play the game still. It's the only thing that keeps me from actively wanting just to get my PlayStation, because I didn't buy a disc, get my PlayStation and throw it against the wall, being like, why is this game so freaking annoying and boring and slow and all this stuff? But I could go into a whole other video about my complaints with 2K and WWE 2K19, but it looks like Whatculture are doing it for me. So, ukes are gone. It's a terrifying concept. Number 9, the Fiend is effectively DLC. I mean, it says it right there. It's pre-order. It's not... Okay, it's not DLC specifically. It's pre-order, but sure, I guess he's DLC, but I wouldn't say that's a reason to be worried. I mean, if you think about it, the Fiend has only been around since, January is when Bray Wyatt created this new character. I bet they already made Bray Wyatt and were already, knee deep into the process of making this game. So the fact that we're even getting the Fiend Bray Wyatt at all is exciting. I don't see why that's a reason to be worried. Let's kind of move on from that. I don't see why that's a bad thing. Mixed match challenge is being touted as major. I do kind of agree with the thought process. I don't like the fact that the mixed match challenge is as advertised as much as it is. I think it's kind of annoying. The fact that that's the only real thing 2K talk about is frustrating. And sure, mixed tag team matches. I'm all for that idea, but it kind of feels like it should have already been in the game already, right? Like, I was thoroughly shocked last year to say you can't do mixed tag matches now? What? Yeah, I was a little bit confused about that, but the fact that they are making it almost a big point, and I get that that's kind of depending on how you see it, but I feel like they are really pushing this whole, hey, we've got a mixed match challenge game mode now. We are amazing. But it's not exciting. Like, it's effectively just a tag match, right? Just a tag team match. Why should I be excited for a tag team match? Give me something fun. Okay, they say here, longtime fans would rather have casket matches or buried alive matches, you know? Give me something like that. That's cool. Okay, you hyped up the Wyatt compound last year so much. They hyped it up so much. And, I mean, look what it was. It was effectively an even worse backstage brawl. It was not fun, not interesting, not exciting, to me at least. The only exciting prospect were that YouTubers could do cool stuff with it. Really, that was the only fun thing about the Wyatt compound. I don't know. It's kind of lame. And they really hyped it up. A good fourth of the trailers featured the Wyatt compound match very heavily. And they're kind of doing that with the mixed match challenge as well. It's a bit annoying because I feel like it shouldn't even be addressed. It should have already been a thing. I don't know. Of course, the game isn't out, but still, it's literally just a tag team match, right? I don't know. I'm not terribly excited for it. GM, yeah, okay, look, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about GM mode for the next 20 minutes. Okay, everybody wants GM mode. We all love GM mode. I like universe mode to an extent. I think universe mode, if changed more into a GM mode, people wouldn't be complaining as much. A lot of the videos I have on the channel are GM modes, are fire promoter, etc. Go watch that series. Leave a like and subscribe, etc. You know, cheap plug. But I mean, look, we're not gonna get GM mode. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the negative Nancy. We're not gonna get it because they don't want to do it. And like, it's almost like asking WWE to bring CM Punk back. It's not gonna happen. I think it's one of those things that as wrestling fans we're just not gonna win, and we should just move on with the GM mode thing. 2K are going the silly routes. Ooh, now this is interesting. Because this is more depending on what you want out of a wrestling game. Do I want a super serious My Career? Not really. I like My Career. I liked Road to WrestleMania because those were super silly. I mean, I remember The Undertaker fought Boogeyman at WrestleMania in one of those freaking, Road to WrestleManias. Okay, and it was like the Boogeyman is gonna defeat The Undertaker's streak. There was zombies in that Road to WrestleMania, and everybody screams, "We miss Road to WrestleMania." And it was just ridiculous, it was silly, it was goofy, you weren't meant to take it seriously, and that's what made it fun. I don't think the game being silly is a bad thing. I believe them trying to do both things is a bit annoying, because this is kind of a weird way to explain this, but I haven't beaten My Career in 2K19. I can't do it. It's not that I have the lack of skill, it's that it's really boring from a gameplay standpoint. And that could be a whole other topic. Maybe that's in this list. But they want to make it feel serious. Yet, as far as I can tell, in the My Career, they want it to be goofy as well. You know, with the broken Matt Hardy thing and the Bray Wyatt and the gas mask thing that they advertised, And I like silly stuff, but I feel like to really pay off with the silliness of the game, that's what made those Road to WrestleManias feel even better, because you could win a match in literally 3 minutes. If you wanted to just play for the story, you could go boom, 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 tombstone, boom, 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 chokeslam, boom, you're done. But with the current gameplay, it's very slow. It's pretty slow. So when getting to the next, and honestly, if you want to have like a fun match in the game with this slower style of gameplay, of match type, of match competition, you can't particularly do a silly route with my career if you want that, because then it feels so repetitive and so that when you actually win the freaking match, it's just like, oh my god, we're finally done. And then you have to go through a loading screen, and then a really long unskippable cutscene that might be super boring. Cough, cough. The entire section of the United States title when you first get on SmackDown section. It's really boring. Or, like, you know, you can't skip those cutscenes, or, you know, all this other stuff, and it just feels so slow, and that's a whole other issue. But, when it comes to 2K bringing in more silly, like, concepts, totally fine with it. I'm totally fine with it. I think Big Head Mode, even though I only probably played it maybe the first day the game came out, it was a very small step and a very little seed saying, hey, we could do some silly stuff. You know, we could experiment more with these silly ideas. I'm just saying, I think it's a good thing to have the silliness. Number 5, there's no fix for the stale gameplay. Hey, I was just talking about it. Okay, the gameplay does feel very slow. Like I said, you know, with the Road to WrestleMania, you can win a match in 3 minutes. With 2K20, it feels like you have to win a match in maybe 15 minutes. It's really slow. It's pretty stale. I've heard that, okay, well, there we go. See, there's absolutely no news on what these key gameplay improvements are. Okay, they have mentioned that they want to do some key gameplay improvements. They haven't mentioned that. That's a whole other issue. Info coming out is very slow. It's kind of frustrating. As far as I can tell, it's the same freaking game, you know? Like, 2K20 just seems to be like the same game from a gameplay standpoint, and it doesn't matter how amazing your My Career is. It doesn't matter how awesome these cutscenes are. It doesn't matter if you have freaking Sting fly down from the rafters on a giant dragon, destroying everybody in his path with fire coming out of his face. If it takes me like maybe an hour and a half to get to that point because the gameplay is so slow and the loading screens take forever. It will just be like, oh, that's kind of cool, as opposed to boom, 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 boom. You do it all maybe 15, 20 minutes, and it feels like progression actually happens. And from a universe mode standpoint, from what I do on this channel with my universe mode, I think the gameplay is really good for that, besides all the graphical glitches and stuff. But when it comes to just playing the game, it's boring. It's really boring. And they have mentioned they want some improvements. They haven't really done much with it. And it's yeah. I played WWE 13's universe mode a while back, just in my spare time, just kind of playing around with it. And that was so fun, because it felt like so much stuff was happening all the time. It was incredibly fulfilling and fun. But now, in WWE 13, it could probably take me how long to defeat an entire episode of Raw? Maybe 30, 45 minutes? Maybe. But in the new game, there's like, let me think, on Raw you could have 5 to 7 matches, so it's like 7 matches. Maybe 3 hours to defeat that. Legit. Maybe 3 hours to do an entire episode of Raw. And it sucks. It's graphically identical? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, it does look a lot like the same game. One thing 2K have done, since they really took the bandwagon in 2K15, is the graphics look unbelievable now. I think even in 2K15, you could have stopped messing with the graphics then. But no, they kept going. And now it's going to look the best it's going to look. I don't know what else to tell you. Graphics don't make a game. Okay, you can have the most beautiful game in history, but if the gameplay's boring, I ain't gonna freaking play the game. Number 3, commentary seems to be the same. Okay, maybe this is just me. I immediately turn off the commentary in the 2K game. Last year, I don't think I've heard the commentary once through my PlayStation or through my television. I don't care, because commentary in real life sucks. Why would the game be any better, you know? So, I think it's fine. Commentary, it's a flaw, but honestly, it's probably the most realistic the game is gonna get to real-life WWE because it also sucks. Number 2, there's still no proper story what? I mean, you've got the female showcase. It says it right here. You've got the female showcase, universe mode, the new story-driven Roman Reigns tower, and 2K originals. It has a lot of story modes there. Why are you complaining? The My Career, I'm confused. Why are you... This isn't a complaint. It has story modes. That's the one thing 2K has in their arsenal with this game. It has, the Roman Reigns tower. It has the female My Career. It has the male My Career if they're not the same. Or maybe they're the same My Career. That's what I could tell from the trailers. It's got the showcase. It's got all this stuff. I mean, sure, it's got the originals. And sure, they may all take a very quick amount of time to complete. But they have it. I don't see why you are... That's one of those other things where it's like, we are not on the same page. Whatculture. I don't think we're on the same page with that. I get maybe you want, something, I don't know, like, Here Comes the Pains, like, Shut Your Mouths, those really in-depth story modes. But I think when it comes to the story and the story modes, I don't think they really have to complain about that. I think that's not the issue. It's everything surrounding those little story mode stuffs that are the issue. So, yeah. There's no full story mode. I don't know. Oh, that you play as a real WWE superstar. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Roman Reigns and his tower. Universe mode, if you want to play it as that. My Career, which is your guy or gal, or guy and gal. That's a dumb complaint. And the number one reason to be worried is they're drip feeding information. I don't even need to read this. I am 100% in agreement with this. Like, if there's any real reason in this list to be worried, this is the one reason to really be worried. The game typically has like a mid-October release, so that means it's probably coming out in a month by the time this video uploads. And there's like no information. I mean, there's information, but there's not anything you can really sink your teeth into, They're kind of like, oh, no duh, that's going to be in the game. No duh, they're going to have a freaking showcase mode. This time it's just the women's showcase. No duh, they're going to have a My Career. No duh, they're going to have universe mode. There's nothing new. There's nothing so interesting that I'm clamoring to get the game. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason I'm getting the game is because I make videos on it. It's the only reason. It makes me sad, honestly. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But the fact that they're drip feeding information does have me a little concerned. Okay? That combined with the whole Ukes left halfway through the game making cycle, that also has me a bit worried. Because now 2K probably halfway through was like, shit. Now we're pretty much halfway through a game that either we don't want to make, or we didn't completely have 100% control over, or they believe is not adequate to 2K19 or better than 2K19. And now they're thinking we have to restart. We almost have to scrap everything. It's almost starting to feel like 2K15 again, with the whole 2K then got the full mantle in 2K15, not 2K14. They kind of just slapped their name on that one. Okay, 2K15 is when they really got the game, and it sucked. Visually, beautiful. Maybe the most beautiful looking game in the WWE franchise. Gameplay-wise, sucked. It really sucked. And fans of these games, perhaps even people backstage, perhaps even wrestlers, people who talk to 2K, YouTubers that get invited to their 2K summits or whatever they're called, they have been clamoring to get some good stuff out of 2K. GM mode, of course, they're not going to do that. But, like, we've almost had to very slowly get back to 2K14. And honestly, if they just straight up remade 2K14 and maybe added the showcase and my career modes that they have now, just kind of bring 2K14 into the present, and then that's your basis. I'm just saying, remaster 2K14 and then just insert your my career or insert your showcase, have the new superstars, and then boom, that's the game we want. Or that's the game I want anyways. But I don't know, you tell me, what do you think about 2K20? Are you worried? Are you anticipated? Are you excited? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you happy? Are you freaking engulfed with so much love or hatred with this game? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think about 2K20? And what do you think about this article written by Whatculture? And sure, I didn't particularly read all of it, but, I read the headlines, and this is the year 2019, and that's all anybody reads anymore. So, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys liked it, please let me know by hitting the like button down below. Comment anything you want to. Comment, subscribe if you haven't already. But if you have, why not hit the bell to be notified of everything we do here on the Bad Wrestling channel? I am, of course, Dominic. And have a good day from Bad Wrestling.